Hi, so I'm Scott. I'm one of the admins on the Fjällräven Classic Sweden 2025 Facebook page. After discussing with Ruben a while back, we decided to do some guides on various aspects of multi-day trekking and camping. And the idea was to create some things that might be of use to people. We understand there's a lot of people with a lot of experience who'll be doing the trek, and some of this might be of no use to you whatsoever because you have your own way of doing things that you're more than happy with, and you'll carry on that way regardless. What they're really for is for novices, people just starting out, people who maybe it's their first ever trek, and hopefully they have information that's of use to you. Just bear in mind that whilst I'm going to cover a lot of subjects over the coming weeks, nothing I say here is guaranteed to work for you, because largely it's what I've found works for me. And what works for me is a very personal thing, and what works for you might be entirely different. Everybody has their preferences, myself included. So they're just some ideas, things you can do, products you can get, and maybe how to use them as well. So the first one I want to talk about is maintaining personal hygiene when you're on the trek. Now, obviously, from when you start till you get to the end, there are no showers, bathhouses, there's no bathrooms, public conveniences. All you have realistically is a lot of water sources that you can get water to give yourself like a sponge bath or such like. And that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Now, in terms of toilet, at each checkpoint there are toilet tents. Literally just a pop-up tent with a toilet bucket, if you like, with a proper seat on. You can go in there. Other than that, the STF huts, they have very rudimentary toilets where it's literally a pit with a wooden plank over the top, pretty much. Not the best smelling, and if you do need to use them, it's a good idea to take a couple of deep breaths and then hold your breath before you go in until you come back out, because they don't smell pleasant. But they can be a godsend if you're caught short out on the trail and you need one. Now, in terms of washing yourself, what works for me is I'll carry a small microfiber towel like this. I'll pour some water onto it, get it wet, and then I'll wipe myself down. Okay. And when I'm done with that, I'll bit more water on, squeeze it out, give it a good rinse out, do it again. And I don't use any soap or anything like that. I just use water. And you can get soap. So you've got like this wilderness wash from Sea to Summit. That's pretty good stuff. It's body wash, shampoo, dishwashing detergent, and clothes detergent all in one. So you can wash everything with that. It's biodegradable. And that's concentrated. It's 100 ml in there, so it weighs about 100 grams. But that should probably see you through for the week. Maybe half of that will. Other options you've got are things like these from Lifeventure. Now, these are little soap wafers or soap sheets, and they're also biodegradable. And you just take one of them out in your hand with water, get a bit of a suds up, and away you go. A pack has 50 in and it weighs about 10 grams, so that's not a bad idea. As I say, they're biodegradable as well. I personally prefer to use nothing, just water. But what I do carry, because I don't like to use deodorant at all while I'm on the trail, because if you're not showering properly and you're using deodorant, they can, or like antiperspirant, it will block the pores and you start to get rashes. Like, that's my experience. So what I do carry is a little spray bottle of alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Obviously, you can spray that anywhere you like. Under your arms, it kills the bacteria, and the bacteria in your sweat is what causes the odour. So by doing that, you're killing off anything that's going to cause the odour. The other tip to prevent odours as well is use merino base layers and merino underwear if you can, because merino is anti-odour. And I've found if I use man-made fibre base layers, they will start to smell after a few days. Merino ones generally don't. Merino mixed ones are pretty good as well. Like they seem to get all the benefits of both worlds, and that's my preference, but I will talk about base layers and stuff in another video. So that's general washing. Now, the best thing to do is not wash in a running water source or in the lake. Get some water from there and move away from it, because people might be getting drinking water from there. There's nothing more disheartening than filling your water filter up and you're filtering into your bottle. You look upstream and there's somebody having a bath upstream, proper full on soap suds up and everything. You're getting that water that's been rinsed off them, and that's not nice for anybody. So my advice is get water, move away from the water source, wash somewhere else, and you know, pour it into the ground. When you're finished with your towel, get it very wet, give it a good sort of scrub through, squeeze it out, you know, rinse it out, and then you can use some of the hand sanitizer, spray it on, and then dry it out overnight. That hand sanitizer will kill the bacteria in the towel. If you can't get it dry for weather conditions or whatever, put it in a plastic bag so it stays damp till the next day. Take it out, fresh water again, give it a scrub, and then away you go. And you know, you're only there for like 6, 7, 8 days, whatever it is. It's not like you're there for weeks and weeks. I also carry a towel like this. It folds down really small. It's another microfiber one. This is a Sea to Summit one. That's a kind of no brand one I got off Temu, I think it was. And this is a much bigger towel, and this is for drying myself off. But to be honest, I'd rather air dry if I can. But that's what that's for. Obviously, I don't have hair, so I haven't got the issue of washing my hair. I know a lot of people use dry shampoo for that. But really, it's not my area of expertise, as you can tell. Now, in terms of toilet, so like as I've already mentioned, there's pop-up toilets at the checkpoints, and at the STF huts you've got toilet facilities there. Like I said, very rudimentary toilet facilities, you know, there's not like flushing toilets or anything like that. So when you're out on the actual trek, for urination as a guy, it's easy. It's just where, if you can plant your feet somewhere, you can go to the toilet. It's that simple. Obviously, move away from the trail, be discreet about it, but nobody's going to judge you if they do catch a glimpse of you going toilet. We're all in the same boat at the end of the day, and we're all grown-ups. If you need to leave a deposit, we'll say, to put it in a nice way, you need a trowel. Now, there's a million different types of trowel that you can get. This is a Coghlans plastic one. It's pretty lightweight, pretty sturdy plastic, and they're relatively cheap. They're about £6, or what's that, about €8 maybe. Are there cheaper ones out there? Yeah, probably there are, and there are also a damn sight more expensive ones. This is the one that I first started out with using. Oh, not this exact one, but they're a decent trowel. The problem I find is on terrain like the Fjällräven Classic in Sweden, it's very rocky, and quite often the ground is very hard. That being the case, this ain't the best one to use. Quite often the end will snap or it'll bend. I mean, they're pretty solid, but it depends how hard you're trying to dig the hole. This one I found on Amazon, I think it was, is kind of like, there's a one called the Deuce, which is super popular. It's very much like this, but it's got a wider shovel part to it. I don't like them, because I just think, because of the width of the shovel, it makes it harder to dig in the ground. This being narrower, cuts in more like a knife. It's so much easier to use, and so that's what I use now. And it weighs nothing. Like literally, it's about 18 grams, I think it is. Now, if you're digging a cat hole, the recommendation is that it should be between 15 to 20 centimetres deep, which is 6 to 8 inches in freedom units. And it should be about 10 to 15 centimetres across, which is 4 to 6 inches in hamburgers. And that's how big your cat hole is. Now, the way I do it is I'll dig a circle, you know, cut the grass or cut the surface layer in a circle, and then dig that circle out. And then I'll dig the soil out. There's my cat hole. The reason I do it like that is because then when I put the soil back in, compact it down, and I can get that disc of top layer, put it back on top and fit it as it was. And it means that it's less, it looks less intrusive. You know, it's less damaging because the same piece of turf is fitting back where it was, all that kind of stuff. Now, in terms of your toilet paper, the ideal is that you pack it out with you. So you take a plastic bag of some description. The best type, really, the ones that you use for picking up dog waste, or the ones that are used for nappies, diapers. The nappy ones are pretty good because, as well as being opaque so you can't see through them, they usually have a mild scent to them as well, which, you know, you shouldn't be able to smell it through plastic, but it's always a bit more reassuring when you've got that that little sort of perfumey smell, because then you know you can't smell it. On the website it does say you can bury it, but the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to carry it out, because there's nothing. If you dig a cat hole, if you don't pack it down properly and some animal comes along and digs it up, it's trailing dirty toilet paper all over the place. So if you pack it out, that can't happen. In terms, well, also when you do go to the toilet, make sure you're carrying some fresh water with you so you can rinse your hands off. And again, the hand sanitizer keeps you clean, because I think a few years ago there was a bit of a breakout of some bug as a result of kind of a toilet borne illness. And I don't know if it was E. coli or something like that, but whatever it was. You don't want to be passing stuff on to other people, so make sure you keep clean and use the hand sanitizer for that. Usually I noticed the last year in the pop-up tents, there was a tub of hand sanitizer at the side, so make use of it. Now, the next one that I want to cover quickly is, oh well, while we're still on toilet stuff, if you need to go to the toilet during the night to urinate or something, and it's maybe blowing a hooligan outside, it's coming down steroids, like, you know, really heavy rain, you don't want to be getting out your tent, these are amazing. 3 litre, they've got a fold out bottom, so they're very stable, they'll stand up. Now, some people will you can get these bottles that have, like, they sort of like have a concertina effect, and they've got a funnel on the top, and that allows ladies to use them as well. Or people use shiwis, things like that. Honestly, Ziplock plastic bag, game changer, because if you can, as a lady, if you can wee into a funnel, you can wee into a bag, you can put your head in. I defy anybody not to be able to use that, and I know plenty of women who do use them. So yeah, and then the next morning, walk away from your tent, away from everyone else, empty it out, bit of fresh water in, swirl it around, empty that out, and then you just roll the bag up, close the top, good to go for the next day. They do not leak, honestly. I've used them for a few years now, and I've never had a problem. If you know, when you've done it, you just stand it up inside the vestibule rather than in the inner tent with you. And if your boots are in the vestibule, just put a gap between your boots and stand it between there, and it can't fall over. I've never known them leak if they do fall over mine, but at least it's an extra layer of security. Now, the last bit I want to mention is for the ladies specifically. Now, it's not an area I've got any real expertise in and very little knowledge, to be fair, but in the interest of trying to make the guides as inclusive as possible and to cover as many topics as possible, I did a bit of research, and part of that research I spoke to a number of ladies I know who do multi-day trekking, hiking, camping, all that stuff, because obviously they are they are experienced with this thing, I'm not. And that's menstruation. So if you're a woman on the trail and you happen to be menstruating at the time you're doing the hike, how do you manage that? So it was a bit of a rabbit hole I went down, and I read a bunch of information on different products and different things. And as I say, I spoke with a couple of ladies I know, good friends, and they were very candid about, you know, what they do and how they manage it. So you've got options. Like, obviously, I've been made aware that women have their own preferences and they do things a certain way, and they have a system and products that they're happy with. And if you want to stick with them, then, you know, fill your boots. That's entirely up to you. There are, in terms of tampons and pads, there are biodegradable ones, but the caveat with that is, from what I gather from, you know, the research I did, although they decompose much faster than the regular ones, I mean, the plastic wrapping or the plastic applicators on a standard tampon can take 800 years to biodegrade. On these organic ones, you're looking at 6 months. The difference is just vast, but the jury's out apparently still, because in a lot of places, sanitary products, used sanitary products, are regarded as medical waste because of the blood content. So they recommend that you carry them out with you. Now, that being the case, why change to a different brand to what you're already using? Use what you're happy and comfortable with. If you're going to have to carry it out anyway, it makes no difference that way. Another option you have is menstrual cups. Now, I'd never even heard of these things, to be honest with you, but did a bit of reading up, and obviously got some advice as well. You essentially, they're like a rubbery type cup that you insert to catch the blood. Now, you can, some of them I noticed when I looked online, you can get like a cleansing product for them, so you can rinse them out with cold water, then use this sort of soap you get with it, if you like, to clean it and sanitize it, ready for the next use. On some of them though, the only option for really cleaning and making sure it is clean and sterile is to rinse it out and then boil it. Now, that being the case, if you're going to have to boil it, are you going to want to bring a separate pot to boil that in? Because I can't imagine you'd want to boil them in the pot you're going to use to boil water for your food and your drinks. And also, you're going to have to consider that you'll have to carry more gas, because you're not just boiling water for your food and your drinks, you're boiling this extra water. So that's kind of a bit of a woman tax, if you like, for being a long distance hiker, I suppose. But yeah, so that was menstrual cups, and that's basically the information I got on from the people I spoke to about how they manage it when they're menstruating while they hike. What else? Oh yeah, don't skimp on underwear. Bring plenty of clean underwear. It's not that heavy, and you'll thank us for that one. Some people try and wear the same pair of squidders, as we call them here, for 2-3 days, and it's just no. Bring plenty of fresh underwear. Your base layers and your outer clothes, you can get away with a week. Your scanties, no, you need to be changing them. That's just my opinion. But so that's it. That's hygiene on the trail. Hopefully I haven't bored you all to death. And what I will do is I'll post some links in the description for the products I've shown you, and for other products that I think might be useful. As the weeks go on, I'll be producing other ones on like tent selection, how to pitch your tent, because how good your tent is, 50% of it's the tent and 50% of it's how well you pitch it. You can have the best tent in the world, if it's pitched badly, it ain't going to work. And you can have the cheapest tent in the world, if it's well pitched, it'll outperform the big ones. So things like that, things like what size backpack do you need, how do you pack a backpack, how do you fit a backpack, because there's a bunch of stuff attached to that, like boots, socks, base layers, outer layers, waterproofs. I'll cover as much as I possibly can in the coming weeks. But if there's anything specifically you want to cover, or you want me to cover, or any questions you have as a result of the videos I do, please feel free to comment, to ask whatever you want, and I'll do my very best to answer. I can't promise I'll have the answers, but I'll do my best. And if there's something I don't know, I'm one of these people who likes to know. So, if you ask, I'm probably going to go a bit digging for it and try and find the information myself as well, or ask questions, because I do have, luckily, access to a lot of people with a lot of experience as well. So it's not just my experience. I can call on that of other people to help and to get answers to things. So hopefully it's been useful. Like I say, if it hasn't been, tell us it hasn't been as well. It's always good to get feedback, whether it's positive or negative. At least I know whether to carry on in the same vein or do it differently. But that's it for now, and I'll come back to you with the next one. I haven't decided what it's going to be about yet, but probably maybe in about a week's time I'll come back with the next one. Thanks for watching.